writer.
Okay.
For those who
what we do here is go back.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
But I promise you, baby, I'll always be yours.
Hey, what's going on? How are you? It's good to see you. Welcome to the Child of Mecha live stream. I am your host, Tim, the one and only Child of Mecha. It's Monday, you guys. And it's been a hell of a Monday. Man, it was a good weekend, but a shitty Monday. Hang on, let me turn this on here. There we go. That's a bit better, right? Yeah. Wow. Anyway, welcome, guys. Welcome. Let's see. Let's get this out of the way first. If you want, hey, oh yeah, we're rocking the Titans, classic Titans tonight. That's what we got. If you want one of these classic Titans t-shirts, go hit up www.jihadalmecha.com. Go hit the store button up at the top. You'll find shirts and hats and all sorts of other cool stuff. Go get you some of that. I heard they make good Easter presents. Just saying. Anyway, if you are interested in any of the tools and materials that we might be working with here tonight, there is an Amazon link just below here on Twitch and YouTube. That side if you're watching on Facebook, and if you're one of the very, very few that might be watching on Twitter, sorry, there's no descriptions on the good old Twitter feed. Go check another platform, or childofmecha.com. There you go. Excuse me. And if you are interested in models, kits, or paints, or accessories, or you need supplies, or you need the amazing Mecha Decals, go hit up our good friends right down here, right there, USA Gundam Store. Adam and the fine folks down there will definitely have what you need. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about the weekend, shall we? It was a fun weekend, you guys. Really fun weekend. And if you can't tell, I've kind of lost my voice a little bit. Reason being is because I was doing a lot of talking on Saturday at ODO, or the Old Dominion Open. The IPMS show down there in beautiful Richmond, Virginia. Man, it was a lot of fun. Lot of people down there, a lot of good models and stuff like that. All sorts of people came out. Mr. Joel, True Gunpla, Nick from Macho Models, Bailey, our very own Bailey was there. Finally got to meet him in the flesh. He was there, and he actually showed up on in the chat in Mechanism last Friday. So if you didn't see that, definitely go watch it, because that was a good one. That was a really, really good episode of Mechanism. We had some really good conversations. It wasn't just kind of BSing and people drinking and stuff like that. It was actually good. Yeah, so Bailey was there. Nickel Models. God, I know I'm forgetting so many people. John Bias. What an amazing guy John Bias is. I finally got to meet him in person. And we talked for, I don't know how long. Long time. Let's put it that way. And just a wonderful guy. Just amazing. Amazingly nice dude. I can't say enough good things about him. Who else? Trav City was there. Gunpla University, they husband and wife duo came out. They were there. Gosh, let me see. Justin, how could I forget Justin? Justinist Builds was there. My boo-boo, he's sick right now. He has a fever. So if you go hit up Justin, go tell him to go get better. And I'm sure I'm forgetting a ton of other people that were there, because there were so many people there, right? But it was a really, really nice event. From what I was told, not as big this year as it was in previous years for some reason. I don't know why. But it was held down there at the Richmond Raceway. And so basically, you come in, and it's this racetrack, but it was being held in kind of a convention style center that was on site. And so you come into that, and you walk in, and obviously tables and tables and tables of models and vendors and stuff like that. So it was really, really cool. Excuse me. Like I said, my voice is still kind of but came in and saw everybody there, started meeting and greeting, saying hi, started talking like from minute one. Broke out airdrops, started setting that up. People started just gawking and crowding around me and watching me set it up. And Travis, aka Trav City on Instagram and stuff, he was just like, man, that's worth the price of admission right there, just watching you set up, right? There's Nick, Macho Models. Hey. So I'm getting it set up and everything, and I had not pulled everything out since Japan, right? Since I got it back. I checked the Jesta. That was perfectly fine. Everything was good with the actual, model itself. But then I go to pull out the base, and I hadn't checked it. My fault. And almost a small catastrophe. One of the little detail blocks on the base had broken off, and I could not find it. So there was this big kind of white nasty spot right on the base that probably would have cost me a ton of points, right? So I'm looking around in the box and everything like that, and I finally find it. And Trav from Trav City was nice enough to lend me his super glue to glue it back on, and thankfully, when I got it back on, you couldn't tell it was broken off, nothing like that. So problem averted. Set it all up, got it hanging, and we were off to the races, so to speak, right? So from minute one, had people come up and compliment, airdrop and stuff like that, and that was really, really cool. But a couple people came up and said, one person in particular, Sean, I believe his name is Sean, and if I'm not mistaken, let me just give Sean a quick shout out here, because he, let's see, where is it here? Here it is. Gumpla _ Sean, SEAN on Instagram. Really cool guy, man. He kind of said to me, he's like, you're the reason why I got back into the hobby. I was just like, whoa, dude, that's really, really cool. That's very flattering, right? That's a very high compliment, I think. To know that you're the reason why someone got back into this. Kind of a humbling comment, really, So that was really cool, especially straight out of the gate. It was really, really neat. And then just hanging out with everybody. It was just really, really a fun day. Really a fun day. Like I said, talking to Mr. John Bias. If you guys don't know who John is, I highly suggest that you seek him out on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. He is an absolute gentleman and scholar. Talking to him was probably the highlight of my day. He was just everything and more that I expected, right? So, kind of meet him, and he's just like, man, airdrop is really, really awesome. And then he showed me his hat, and it said Airborne on it, right? And I didn't know that. I didn't know he was a paratrooper, right? And he said, yeah, he's a paratrooper. And then he asked me if I was a paratrooper, and I was just like, no, why? He's just like, well, the accuracy of your parachutes is really astonishing. I'm like, wow, really? Like, I just kind of did my research. That's all. But he complimented airdrop, especially the parachutes, of the billowing effect and all that, and the rigging and the lines and everything, and that felt really good, to have someone who actually was underneath of those parachutes at some point in his life compliment me on how they looked. That really kind of really hit home. It's really, really cool. Really good stuff, But John had also mentioned that he really liked Mecha Decals. And that felt really good too, because we're really proud of those. And he complimented me on the clarity and the fact that we use Cartograph as our printer, and all that stuff. Excuse me. So it was a kind of a special moment. I'm not gonna lie, it was a special moment. It felt really good. Kind of getting that real, honest, kind of meaningful praise. That's you hear you hear compliments and stuff like that, but the really meaningful stuff, it's few and far between, unfortunately. The ones with big substance, that's what I love. So that was really a fun time. So talked to John a lot throughout the day, multiple times, and hung out with Justin, and talked to Bailey a little bit. Obviously Nick, Macho Models, and just a bunch of other cats. Joel, obviously. Hey, bud. I was talking like Joel by the end of the day. Like, what the hell, right? But like, come on, man. I had to kind of like reel it back. I'm like, what am I doing here? Anyway, traded a bunch of stickers and stuff like that. So I still have to go through all that and get those kind of cataloged and all that, right? But it was a really, really fun day. So, we're all kind of starting to pack up and everything. Hey, there's Trav from Mr. Trav City. Yeah, Macho Models. Let's go, boys. Yeah, for real. That's Joel in a nutshell, right? Or at least how he talks. But man, so we're packing up, and it's getting to the end of the day and all that, and actually, you know what? Let me say before that, kind of the other highlight of the day, aside from talking to Mr. John Bias, was kind of I stood back from the table a lot, like 10-20 feet, just to and I just kind of watched, and obviously within that organization, within IPMS, there's a lot of older gentlemen, and a lot of them are veterans, either ex-military and stuff like that, or some of them even are current military. Some of the younger guys, right? And mostly they do armor and planes, and your more traditional scale modeling, right? And so I just kind of, like I said, sat back like 10-20 feet from the table and everything. And it was really cool to see, the guys come up, the older gentlemen, especially with the, with the Army hats and Navy, and, a lot of them had, USS whatever ship they were on their hats, and they had, the vests and the pins, and just all that stuff, all of the accoutrements, if you will. But they would come up, and a lot of them, were just kind of in awe of what they saw on the table. Not just Airdrop, but, all of the Gunpla that was there. And it was really, really cool, right? But like I said, some of them would just come and kind of make a beeline right to Airdrop. It was like at the end of one of the tables, right? So you could see it, from the side and also from the front. And, a lot of them would just kind of make a beeline and look at Airdrop and look at the parachutes and everything. And I was just like, man, this is wild. This is kind of a bit of pressure that I had not expected, right? And, it kind of made me realize a little bit that, Airdrop is kind of that, I guess, special build that bridges the gap between what we do and kind of what they do, right? And I'm not sure if I had kind of truly realized that, until seeing, those older gentlemen come up and just really look at it and kind of just, stand there for several minutes, just looking at all the details and everything, and kind of hunching down and kind of looking at different aspects of it, right? So that was kind of touching. It was really, really cool, right? And then once all of the initial judging had stopped, there was a point where all of the judges had come over and started looking at Airdrop. All of these older guys, like white hair, the whole nine, probably 8, 9, 10 of them, huddled around Airdrop, and some of them had, full flashlights going, right? And it was an oddly pressure-filled feeling, right? Because Joel, obviously, I guess was him and Nick were head judges, so Joel was describing kind of what had gone into that particular model, and to the rest of the judges and everything, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. And Nick's Macho Models, Joel had to sell it for Best of Show, and evidently I was kind of in the running for Best of Show, which was flattering, just for that purpose, for that reason and all, but obviously, I didn't win Best of Show. That's fine. I didn't expect to, right? But it was really cool to know that I was kind of in that running, right? So, I just don't think that particular show is ready to have a Gundam win Best of Show yet, and that's fine, because we're kind of still in that integration phase, of being accepted, alongside of the tanks and the planes and the cars and the rest of the sci-fi stuff and figures and all that. So that's still a work in progress, right? Some shows you can't even. Some shows you're not even in the running for best sci-fi at that point, right? But it was really, really cool. It was really cool. So anyways, we're packing up and everything, and this gentleman comes up and he starts talking to me. Really animated older guy, white hair, well dressed, the whole nine. Definitely a unique personality. I believe his name was Mike, if I remember correctly, and can't be 100% sure on that, but a wonderful gentleman to talk to. We probably stood there for a good 15-20 minutes talking, and he probably gave me the best compliment that I received all day, when he told me, that he was jealous of Airdrop, and he, in a jokingly sort of way, he told me to he told me to go fuck myself. Joking, mind you, but he kind of meant it in kind of the highest complimentary way possible, and that's how I took it too. I didn't get the feeling that he was like, oh, well, go fuck yourself. No, he meant it like I really dig the model kind of way, right? Which was awesome. He was very, very impressed by the display of Gunpla on the day, and he was highly impressed with Airdrop, and it was definitely one of those builds, he said, that kind of caught his attention, which was really awesome. It was really, really awesome. So sometimes you get the weirdest compliments, but sometimes they're really, really good too, right? So that was just really a fun moment. And I was telling him, about Airdrop and what went into it and everything like that, and he asked about the ground, the terrain picture and everything, and I told him how I did it, and I told him, I said, I took it in, it's an image printed on printed on paper, and then laminated to plastic sheet, and put a radial blur on it so it looked like movement and everything. And then he asked me about the cloud motif all over the base and everything, and he says, that's got to be a photograph as well, right? I'm like, no, that's painted on. And then he says, oh, well, fuck you too then, just again hitting me with that, which was really cool. He was highly impressed with the clouds and everything, and we had talked about how I made the parachutes, and kind of what else went into the model. And then I told him about GBWC, and I told him, hey, yeah, this actually got me over to Japan, and he was shocked that there was anything like that, right? Because kind of outside of the Gunpla world, in the more traditional scale modeling, they don't really have anything quite like that, right? So he was really kind of taken back by the whole kind of Gunpla community and what was involved and all of that, and he really was into it, and yeah, it was just a fun exchange, right? It was a really fun exchange. So it was a good day overall. Nick Machumato says, I know the head judges were blown away with your GBWC trip too. Oh, hey, that's awesome, man. But yeah, it was a good day. It was a good day. So, got packed up, sitting down with the rest of the gang, hanging out, just talking and everything, and they started rolling off the awards and everything like that, and obviously, there's 60 some award categories, so ours was like at the tail end. But won my category, won 100 scale and higher UC, and then I'm like, oh, okay, cool, I won, awesome. And so I just kind of went back, sat down, snapped a picture, posted it on social media and everything, and then obviously, and then Nick Macho Models, he's just like, hey Tim, come up here, you should listen to this. I'm like, what? And then they gave out an award for Best Gundam, right? And I didn't know they were giving that out. And hey, won that too, right? So that was really cool. Got to take home a high-res, what was it? A high-res Astre Noir. So that was really cool to get. You know, got a couple little trophies and all that. So yeah, fun day, man. Fun day. It was really good. It's really good, man. Really good. So, that's my ODO experience. I highly suggest if you have an IPMS event in your area, go hit it up. Go enter something. Go get involved, right? They were begging me all day to judge, and I'm like, nah. Can't do it. I dislike judging, honestly. Even when I get pegged to do it, I still just like, you know. But yeah, I know Nick and Joel were trying to get me all day, but nah, it just didn't happen. He says you're judging soon. Nice. But yeah, so you guys, so if you're in the States or outside of the States, whatever, wherever you are, go hit up the IPMS website, you know, whatever country that you're in. In the US, it's really convenient because they have a list of events on their website, and you can break it down by calendar, or you can break it down by geography, right? So you can see a map of where all the events are and everything. Now, me being kind of middle East Coast, I am in Region 2 of IPMS, so I am going to probably hit up 2 other IPMS events this year. Excuse me. There is Marauder Con, which is a smaller one, which is kind of just right up the road for me, probably about 15-20 minutes. But then there is Mosquito Con, which is in, I think, northern New Jersey, right? And I know a bunch of the New York boys are coming down for that and all that fun stuff. So definitely going out to that. Scuffle, what's the US site? IPMS.com? Something like that. Just type it, just Google IPMS and you'll definitely find it, Scuff. George says, PatCon in September. Hey, you never know. Boston's not that far away, right? Oh, yeah, IPMS Nova, too. Yeah, I forgot about that one, Nick. Macho Models was nice enough to remind us. IPMS Nova, Northern Virginia. June, he thinks. I don't know. There's so many. I can't keep track of them, right? So there's that. And then I'm going to be going out to Las Vegas at the end of April for Best of the West. So I'm actually going to take airdrop out there because it's a different region. Haha. So yeah, so that'll be a lot of fun. Those Gundam guys will be joining me there, and that will be a weekend of shenanigans, I'm sure. So that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, so all that good stuff is happening, man. Just hit up IPMS. It's like a lot of fun. You know, different regions and different shows will have, I think, varying levels of acceptance in terms of Gunpla. You know, some are super inviting. Some are still kind of, you know, let's keep them at arm's length, right? So it's just, it takes time. It takes time for us to get integrated into our various IPMS chapters, shows, all that good stuff, right? Hey, look at this. Mr. Matt Mrozek, he's over there on Facebook. He says, Facebook says I should say something to let you know that I am here. So, something. Hey, what's up, Matty? Good seeing you, buddy. Good seeing you, man. So, good stuff there. Macho Nick, he says, Ronan or Z, help me peer pressure Tim to do an aircraft build. The closest that you're going to get to an aircraft build is getting me to do either this tank or this hover truck. That's about the closest you're going to get. It's about it. Yeah. I'm just not into other genres. All right? My passion is Gundam. What can I say? I love me some giant robots, y'all. I love me some giant robots. So, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Nick says, arm's length IPMS peeps are going away. I haven't heard of any friction recently. No, and I'm not meaning friction. I'm just kind of like at Odio. They still have a hard time accepting, us in that top kind of tier. You know what I mean? Like I said to you at the event, they just weren't ready for it. That's a fine. They just aren't ready for it. It's all good. And I was just blown away by the fact that we were in contention, right? That fact alone blew me away. So, completely all good, right? Completely all good. Let's see. For sure. It will take time. You're absolutely right. Yeah. So, good stuff there, right? Good stuff there. But yeah, man, it was a really, really fun time. It was a fun day. Really good stuff. So did Old Dominion play at ODO? Ruslam. Bill, what are you talking about? I don't know. You lost me, Bill. You lost me, buddy. I don't know. Anyway. Spider2K2, Mr. James 2.0 says, MosquitoCon has adapted a Gunpla category for the first time this year. Hey, here we go. Haha. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Alright, let's see here. Taking care of some business. There we are. Bear with me, folks. Shenanigans. And there we are. Done deal. Alright, good stuff there. Gotta love shenanigans. Yeah, Donnie, we did that. Not to worry. Shenanigans over on the Facebook page, you guys, so had to take care of that. Sorry about that, D. I don't know what that was. Anyway, let's see. Mr. Matt Mrozek over there says, IPMS guys mostly consider Gundam's toys still, show up with some large resin stuff and they treat it differently for some reason, though. Yeah, I mean, they've seen that for a while, right? They've seen resin stuff, and they've seen figures and all that good stuff. So they get that to a point, right? The Gundam stuff still a bit new. Still a bit new for them, right? You know, and obviously, if you watched Mechanism on Friday, we were talking about kind of that learning curve, right? And like I said on Friday, you know, our Asian brethren are kind of already around that curve, and we're just starting to make that turn, right? So I think the overall skill level of the Gunpla community right now in the U.S. is still somewhat on the lower side. There's a decent amount of people that are moderately and you know, advanced in it, but for the most part, we're still trying to get around that learning curve, right? So there's that to kind of take in consideration, you know. But I think the level of quality at ODO was very, very good, very, very high, from what I've seen at other competitions and stuff. So I was pretty damned impressed by that. So good stuff. Mr. George, he says, at our chapter, the entire group has been inviting and take the Gunpla category seriously. That's good. They should. Because, believe it or not, guys, in terms of the U.S. sales, the Gunpla category alone outsells every other modeling segment combined. Yeah. Combined. So, the sales are outpacing everything at this point. So, that's something to keep in mind. We may not necessarily have a super, super high skill level as an overall, but with the sales, that shows that people are getting into it, right? That shows that people are buying it. So it's only a matter of time before that skill level starts to creep up, starts to go up, right? So that's a good thing. That's a really, really good thing. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time. I, for one, am really looking forward to the future of things within IPMS here in the States. Yeah. Yep. Edward Leonard says, hi all, congrats Tim. Thank you, Edward, appreciate that. He says, if Gunpla keeps showing up, the more they have to deal with it. Yeah, exactly. The more they have to deal with it, the more that they have to, quote unquote, let us in, right? So, and like I said, a lot of IPMS chapters and shows and stuff like that are super, super inviting. Like George had said, his chapter up in Boston seems really, really awesome. Really cool. ODO, those guys, super inviting. They may not necessarily be ready to have a Gundam be best of show, but you know what? We're right there. We are right there, you guys. We can do it. And there has, mind you, there has already been Gundams be best of shows. If you look at, Clean Builds Only, I met John there at ODO. Really cool dude. Really cool guy, so shout out to John. Clean Builds Only. He, if I remember correctly, he won an IPMS event with his Sazabi, and he took home best of show. So there has been precedent for that, right? So, yeah. It's just a matter of time, you guys. It's just a matter of time. Keep going, keep pounding, keep showing up, right? We'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry. Dwidget. Oh my god. Therno Hobbies and Games, you guys. What's up, Dwee? He says, Tim, did you hear about the recent move that Bandai did with the P Bandai US as far as announcements go? Yes, I saw that. So, the big news over the weekend was that we're gonna start getting P Bandai. Hey, like direct off the boat P Bandai. What? Excuse me while I take a drink and cheers to that. Yeah. So how about that? It's kind of fun, right? It'll be interesting to see how that develops. Get ready for the show, I guess, you guys, right? Mr. Matt Mrozek, he's over there on the Mecha Army Facebook group. And if you haven't joined the Mecha Army Facebook group, what are y'all waiting for? Go join it. Get on it, man. But he says, the first IPMS show I ever went to, I won Best of Show with my 160th Neo Saz. Pissed all the tank and plane guys off. That was 7 years ago. Well, shit, dude, I didn't know that. Well, there you go. There's precedent right there. Now, mind you, it's a 160th Neo grade Sazabi. Meaning that the fucker's almost as tall as I am. So there we go. Good stuff, Matt. Good stuff, man. Charles Dodge over there on YouTube. He's got a question, and let me see if the Stream Deck is working here. Hey! It did. It totally died on me right before we went live, so I didn't know if it was going to work. But he says, about the USA Gundam member page, how do I get or buy the USA Gundam membership? That's a really good question. I don't know. What I would probably do is either hit up Adam or email the site or something like that. I really don't know, man. Sorry. Scuffle says, didn't Strider Prime place a Mosquito Con with his perfect grade unicorn one year, or am I remembering it wrong? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just spitting out what I know. So, I figured there were more than just Clean Builds Only, John's Best of Show, but that was the only one I kind of knew offhand. So, yeah. Anyway, excuse me. Nice. Good stuff. Okay. Taller. Thanks, Chris Pabs, you dick. You wank stain. Anyway. Alright. So, what else? Oh. We got the shipping notice. Yes. She 2's on their way. Yeah. They're on the way. Get excited, you guys. Mecha Decal Sheet 2 on the way. On the way. So they'll be in stock soonish. So, if you haven't pre-ordered, get on it. Hit up, USA Gundam Store. USA Gundam Store. I have to reverse the thing. Chris Pab says, Tim and I are roughly the same height. See, now he's trying to backtrack. Trying to get back into my good graces. Anyway. Scuffle says, you might call me short here in America, but in the Philippines, I'm a friggin' giant. Nice. Good stuff. All right, so you guys, let's get started building, shall we? It's 10:55. Let's get on this. Let's go. Boom. Camera 2. Here we go. And let's get you zoomed in. Let's get you caught up with the leg. Look at that. Look at this leg. That's a sexy leg, y'all. Both sides are now. Come on now. Here we go. Both sides are now padded out. Looking pretty nice, if I do say so myself, right? There's that nice block. It sticks out just ever so slightly, just like the original. And man, that just that gives it a lot of beef and substance, right? So there's the original, right? And you can see, where's my little pointer deal? Where's, shoot, man! Oh, there it is. I was about to say y'all stealing my shit again. Anyway, you can see right here, you know, where this blue ends, or where, you know, and where the white starts. That's where that you know, kind of side block sticks out, right? So you can kind of tell the Jesta calf is pretty thin, right? But bang, look at that. That is more beefy. And look with the knee. Ooh. Yeah. And excuse me. I went ahead and glued on these little circular deals there. So look at that. That gives it some nice nice beef in the cat or in the knee area, right? Yeah, that's looking quite good, if I do say so myself, right? Definitely looking more and more like an RX, but there's still work to do. Still work to do, and we're gonna start on that bit tonight. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna duplicate this. I'm gonna show you kind of how we are going to beef these pieces out and how I've done it. And we're just gonna take it step by step. I don't know if we're gonna get through this tonight or not, but we're gonna sure as hell try, right? So we're gonna take off both of these pieces, and we're gonna try to do both sides simultaneously here, right? So we're gonna put that off to the side. Now, first things first, on this little leg piece, it has this lip around here. And you know what? Let's get super zoomed in so you can kind of see, and I'll pull back the camera a little bit. So it's close, but not too close, right? Hey, look at that. Tex Merquise, Miss Armida, she says, that didn't skip leg day. Yeah, you for real, right? Look at this. Doing some donkey raises and calf raises and all that. Beefy. Anyway, let's get you zoomed in, shall we? Let's stop talking, and let's get the dealie here, and let's get that right there, and then we'll pull back just a bit. There we go. Look at that. Nice. Okay, so now we're zoomed in, but we're not too zoomed in. We can actually get a little bit closer, shall we? There we go. All right, cool. That looks good. So anyway, on this on the Jesta leg parts here, it has this kind of lip right here, right? First thing we got to do is eliminate that. We got to get rid of that. So that this all kind of smooths out and everything, right? And it's pretty simple. It's not really that pronounced, so we can just kind of just scrape that down, and now that just goes away. Easy peasy. We're just going to do that on all sides here, just real quick. Be careful of, gotta be careful of the block that we put in there previously, right? We don't want to mess that up. Now we don't have to be super careful with this because obviously we're going to be plating over most of this here. Okay, last edge here. And there we go. All right, so now we've got a good base there. Now, first thing that we need to do is we need to plate out the back edge here. And to do that, we start off with 6.3 by 1 millimeter strip here, and we're just going to tack that on with some super glue, and we're going to just pop that on there here real quick. Let's see. Spread that out nice and even. And we're going to place our strip ever so carefully. That looks good. Add a little bit of pressure to it. And then we are going to get our good friend Mr. Instaset here. Pop a few drops. Just like that. Now we're going to leave that sit there. We're going to do the other side here real quick. Let's see. Okay, looking good. Make sure that's all nice and smooth. Just like that. Excuse me. And like I said, guys, oh, hey, let's get actually on in frame, yeah? We're just scraping this down. This is not a difficult process. We're just using the edge of our knife and just shaving plastic. That's it. There we go. Good to go. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing to this side. Use a generous amount too, because this, like I said, is also going to fill the gaps, and that's exactly what you want to achieve here with this. Make sure everything's nice and straight. See that squeeze out that we're getting right there? That's what you want to see. Just like that. That's good. That is good. Now, it doesn't matter too much up here on this side, but it does matter along the bottom edge here and the back edge here. That's really, really where we want to see some good kind of squeeze out of that super glue. There we go. All right, so now we're going to go back to the first piece here. That's nice and set. Everything's good. All right, now what we're going to do is start trimming away the excess here. And we'll use the Zurons first, and then we'll go in with the Tamiyas here, kind of get the fine stuff here. And get as much as you can, because this will help with the filing process here next. And we're going to take our kind of rough, pretty aggressive file here, and we're going to start to shape this edge down. So see here, we're pretty much parallel with the piece of armor there. So we're just going to take this down. And see, it makes pretty short work of this piece, right? And we're not being finesse, you know, very Finesseful? No, that's not a word. Making shit up here. We're not giving it much finesse here. We're not being super careful. We just need this to be a nice, smooth transition between the plate and the part, right? Doesn't have to be super clean at this point, because we're going to be stacking plastic on this thing. We're going to be filling it with super glue. We're going to be doing all that stuff, right? So it doesn't have to be perfect right now, right? Finesseful. Hey, goalie, what's up? I think I made a new word. Finesseful. Can somebody look that up, see if that's actually a real word or not? I don't think that it is. I'm almost pretty sure that it's not. But I'm just saying. It would be cool. Alright, so just as a... Alright, so now this transition between the plate and the part is perfectly good, right? You can see it right there. That is nice and flat. So what we're going to do next is to clip this little bit off of the other piece. We're going to use this 6.3 here. Let's wipe off the excess Insta-set off this piece real quick, because we don't want that setting up before we are ready for it, right? Excuse me. Alright, so get some glue here. Use a liberal amount, right? Use this generously, because like I said, this is going to fill in all the gaps and everything like that. And if you get, you know, a bunch of squeeze out, it's not a big deal, right? Just make sure everything is nice and covered. Make sure that you've got all of your gaps filled in, all the spaces and everything like that. Everything. Make sure everything's good, right? So you can see we've got squeeze out all around here, all on here, and even some a little bit down there, and that's good, actually. That's really, really good. So we're gonna pop a few drops of Insta-Set all the way around, and we're gonna let that sit for just a few seconds while we do the same thing to this piece here, right? We're just gonna come in and we're going to just clip that. Come on now. Cool. Alright. And now what we're going to also do here, probably should have did this on the first piece. Let's try to knock off that leading edge here, yeah? See if we can't make our filing job just a little bit easier. Careful of your digits. You don't want to cut yourself, though. That would be bad. Alright. That's all I'm comfortable with. So, I'm going to take the file, hold it parallel to the armor, and just start filing down that edge, right? Now, once we have these two pieces in place, these are going to be our guides for everything else at this point. This is what's going to give us kind of our baseline, our level line, so to speak, for all of the plating that we're going to be doing. And there's going to be a lot of it. There's three separate levels to this. So three separate layers of plate that we have to put on this thing. Let's see. Look at this. Scrabble judges say no. Gunpla slingers say yes. Nice. Gert McDirk. Urban Dictionary. Finesseful. A term used to describe one who performs a task with such finesse that they achieve sublime perfection in that particular task. I mean, I'm with it. I'm with it. Nice. Oof. Super glue bloody fingers to leg. Noted. Yeah, Scuffle, thank you. Not quite. Not quite. Okay. That is a perfect transition right there. So we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good to go there. All right, so now we need to pull the right strip out here, and we need to cut a little bit of that. Just about there. That looks good. We're going to put that off to the side, and let's get this super glued as well. Again, we're going to use a pretty generous amount of super glue here. We just want all the little nooks and crannies to be nice and filled. We don't want to take any chances with this, right? Now, if you've seen me lay down parts with super glue before, and we've used a pretty good amount, you've seen how it floats, and then it grabs, right? It just grabs it and it won't let go, and that's just what happened right now. So, with that being said, we're going to pop a couple drops of this Insta-Set on there, and we're going to get that starting to cure. Not the Robert Smith cure, you dinguses. There we go. Alright, so we're going to set that off to the side. We're going to bring back the first piece here. This is all pretty much completely cured at this point. We're just going to clean off any of the excess Insta-Set here, because that stuff, when it's not dry, it's a little greasy, and that's not great, right? It's not great. It's not great for your model. It's not bad, but it's just not great. It just, you know, will collect dust and all that junk, right? There we go. Julio Ponte, Mr. Clippin' Nubs. Julio, where's my gym membership? Eh? Where's my card? You have until the end of the week. Mofo. Anyway. Ruslam, Mr. Bill says, so I sent Tim a little snippet by Old Dominion so he can know who they are. Oh. Okay. Greek Nakos is over there on Twitch. He says, LOL, speaking of digits, I do woodworking and have the whetstones to rehone my scalpels today. After rehoning, I scratched, quote-unquote, my finger with the back of the tip and got a decent cut. Ouch. That's never fun. Never, never, never fun. Excuse me. Obviously, this is thicker styrene since you're sanding and layering, but is this 0.5 millimeter or bigger? No, this is actually 1 millimeter strip here. 1 millimeter thick. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, Julio says, I was out looking for a gym. They want an arm and a leg. Checked out a boxing gym called Hitbox. $57 a month. Dude. Planet Fitness, man. Yeah. Look, Julio, I'm going to tell you what. I go to Planet Fitness, and I'll be honest with you. I mean, I've been training for a pretty good amount of time. Off and on, right? But, like, my current training, I've probably almost 2 years at this point, and I'm starting to grow out of Planet Fitness. But right now, where you're at, Planet Fitness is going to be perfect. Trust me, bro. Trust me. Just get in there and do some shit. Right? Earn your way, son. Earn your way. This is the way. Alright, so let's get back on this. Now, obviously, since we've got a lot of light here and this is all white stuff, this contrast is kind of bad, so it's going to be hard to see. But there you can see kind of the lip that we got going there. So we're going to start to trim that down with the good old hobby knife here first, and then we're going to take the file to it and get that nice and shaped down. And I think that's pretty much ready. Let's take one more layer off here. Just a little bit. Ooh. There we go. All right. So now, I'm going to file this down and get this transition really, really nice and very, very smooth, right? Almost there. Looking good so far. Alright, we're going to swap out that file for one of our jeweler files here. We're going to get this really, really smoothed out and a pretty sharp edge on this thing here. Okay, good there. We're going to hit this with our 400 grit sanding block. Just like this. And let's see. Oh yeah. That right there is perfect. And let's see. You can see the break line right there. Nice and sharp. That's what we want to achieve. That's what we're looking for. Hell yeah. Good stuff. Let's see. Let's see. Julio says, I want to hit a bag for a long time. Just get Tim to remind you like the chest of Julio. Fudabayoy, God. Flynnberger, Craig. What's going on, Craig? He's over there on YouTube. Let's see. Julio says, I'm doing the remodeling. Yeah, he is. He says, I don't know if there's a 24-hour out here. What? Planet Fitness has got to be 24 hours in New York. Come on, man. That would be like a travesty if you don't have a 24-hour Planet Fitness in New York. Come on. Matthew Orfield, he's over there on Facebook. What's going on, man? He says, wow, I'm late in the game today. It's okay. You're here. That's what matters. And we got that shirt thing figured out for you, Matthew. So, good stuff. Haha, look at that. Perfect timing. He says, thanks for helping out with the shirt earlier. Dude, my pleasure, man. Sorry for the hassle. Yeah. So there we go. Oh, no, it's the gym called 24-Hour Fitness. Oh! Yeah. Well, 24-Hour Fitness is good, but they're a little more expensive than Planet Fitness. And it the quality of 24-hour fitness is vary greatly from what I've seen. There are some that are really, really good. There are some that are absolute donkey shit. Trust me, the one around me, donkey shit. Bad. My Planet Fitness is not terrible. Like I said, I'm starting to grow out of it, but they're not terrible, right? They've updated the equipment. It's a really nice location. I can't complain. But it's still Planet Fitness. Anyway. All right. So, we've got our piece here. It's all nice and trimmed out. Everything's good to go. Let's get this upper part done here because we're not going to be plating up here, right? This is what we're going after. So we've got the back plated up. We've got just the sides here plated up. So that's all we're going to be doing, right? We're just going to be starting to build up this area here. This top and these front portions are not going to be plated at all. So we're just building plastic here, right? Just building plastic up. Where'd my knife go? There it is. All right. So let's trim this out here. And this is a little bit easier because we can use the contour of the piece as our cutting guide, right? Like we've done so many other times before. Ow. I didn't cut myself. I pinched myself on the back side of this thing, so not to worry. Looking pretty good there. All right, so let's take the, you know what, let's get one of the other files here because I'm not super happy with that particular one. Let's get the flat one here. Okay. One thing that I really like doing is using one of these. These are the 1, 2, 3 blocks, the little chunks of steel, and I like propping it up on the piece up on this, right? Because it gets it off the table, so your hand can be a little bit more ergonomic and have kind of a more natural direction, so to speak, when you're filing. And the cool thing is that you can kind of hang it off the edge here and just kind of do this sort of thing, right? Just like that. And that gets you a pretty smooth outcome there. Not too bad. Now, another thing that we can do is we can take our hobby knife and we can just kind of scrape this edge down. And again, just kind of hang it off the edge here. And that will get you a really nice and smooth transition, but it also gets you a nice, you can see a nice break line there of those two surface angles there. So that's really quite nice. But we can get this just trimmed down just a little tighter right here. Just a bit there. bit there. Let's give this one more scrape. And there we go. Nice. Perfect. So, let's see. Let's catch up here just real quick. He says, Julio says, I'm ahead to Blink and Planet Fitness tomorrow after work. Check it out. Word. Dude, Planet Fitness is $10 a month. No brainer. No brainer. Anyway, over there on the Mecha Army Facebook group, Mr. Evan Andrews says, Tim, I found your channel and have been watching the streams of the airdrop Justo while I'm working. What a gold mine. Thank you, brother. Dude, no, thank you, man. You know what, Evan? You get one of these, buddy. Mecha Army, son. That's what I'm talking about. Good stuff. Good stuff. Love it. All right. So, we've got our piece. And we've got all of the different transitions here done up here. And we're just going to give this top part just kind of a quick sanding, rough sand here. Just to smooth out any file lines and everything like that. Just to make sure that we are in good shape. And the dust will kind of show you where your problem areas are, right? So you can kind of see there's just a little line right there, and let's get you zoomed in just a little bit there, right? You can see that faint little line right there, right? That's the super glue line. That's the filler that we're talking about. So we wipe the dust away a little bit, and see that goes away. We do our fingernail test. Nothing. Ain't nothing doing. Right? That surface, that transition there is going to be nice and smooth now. Same thing with this. We do our little fingernail test. Perfect. Done deal. So we'll pull this back to right about there. That's looking good. Now, what we need to do next is to start laying plastic along here, but we can't just jump into that and start doing that. No. This surface here, as you can see, is slightly curved, right? And there's some gaps that are there. You can see that on both sides, right? Let's see if I can hold the ruler and point it out to you at the same time. Nope. There we go. My little 1, 2, 3 block assistant here. So you can see the gap right here and right here along this leading edge here, right? So this leading edge right here isn't a big deal because we're going to basically transition down to that edge break. But the more concerning of the two is this space right in here, right? So to work with that, what we've got to do is to flatten out the top edge of this strip here. So we're going to take one of our bastard files. This is just the finer one. And we're going to start to flatten this surface out. Now, we've got to make sure that this is nice and flat in unison with the actual piece too, right? And there we go. So now you can see we've flattened out, we've leveled out this middle part here, we've flattened and leveled a lot of the strip here as well. So that's what we're going for at this point. And now we're ready to lay down some plastic. All right, we're ready to lay down some plastic. But real quick, before we jump into that, let's take a check back over on the Mecha Army Facebook page. Mr. Michael Ortiz is over there. He says, "What's up, dude?" He says, man, every time I watch your stream, I always get inspired to go build, but sadly work has been keeping me so busy. Haven't had much time to work on any of my projects. Always love picking up new ideas from you. Dude, thank you, man. I appreciate that. That really means a lot. Michael, you know what? Since you're a member of the Mecha Army, you get one of those too. Hell yeah. Let's see. Fought that chicken attack. VFX10 Viper. Josh, what's going on, man? He says, Chris is here. You okay, man? Thought that chicken attack did you in. LOL. I must have missed something. I don't know. Anyway. Alright, so we're going to start laying down some plastic sheet. What we got here is 3/4 millimeter plastic sheet. This is just from McMaster Carr. So it's really kind of stupidly inexpensive plastic sheet. So that's what we're going to use for this. And we're just going to cut out a nice little honka piece, right? We're just going to kind of eyeball this. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just kind of measuring this out just kind of like this. And I think that's going to be a good width for us. We're going to use our Olfa little utility knife here. We're going to cut once, cut twice. That's scoring. That's snapping. And now we got a good piece. Now, let's do the same thing this way. And you want more than what's needed, obviously, here. So right about there, I think, looks good. Score. And snap. So there we go. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to lay this piece down, and obviously there's going to be a lot of overhang, but that's what we want. We want there to be overhang. And then as you can see on this side, what we did when we leveled that out, that's going to give a nice surface for that plastic to lay down on. So that's what we are. That's the goal of all of this, right? Now we are going to use a very generous amount of super glue on this because number one, we're going to be filling in this gap here. Boom. Just like that. And then we are going to lay down our sheet. It's going to float. We're going to press that down. There's going to be a lot of squeeze out on this, and that's what we want. That's exactly what we want. That's one of the reasons why we use super glue, you guys, is for the gap filling properties of super glue. And the fact that we can work fairly quickly with it too, right? So there we go. There's our first sheet down, right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to trim this right now while that Instaset is starting to work. Right? We're just going to get a little bit of the overhang off of there, and then we're going to lay in some super glue right on along that leading edge, right? Just like that. And then real quick, we're going to get our Instaset on there. A couple drops. Boom. Now, we got to let this sit for a few minutes, okay? Because that is going to need some time to cure. So now we've got this other piece here, but we've got this big old gap right in the middle. Now, what do we do with that? Well, I'm glad you asked. All right, so Chris R says, last night on Reyes Power Ranger Jason and Sabrina. Beer Banter Build Night, they played a song called Chicken Attack. I said I'm going to hang myself. Wow, okay. Damn it, Tim, that would have made building the shoulders on Dom way easier. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Oh, sorry, dude. Womp womp. Whoopsie. See, now I have to go back and watch the chicken attack thing. I don't know what that is. Just not one of the cool kids, I guess. Yeah. Yo, I fell out last night. ODO just, it zapped my energy. Just killed me. Alright, we're going to do the same thing here with this particular strip. Finish this off here real quick. Okay. Now, I can tell just by the characteristics of how this is cutting that this blade is getting pretty dull. It's not slicing through the plastic like it kind of did when it was new, right? So we're gonna make a few final cuts here, and then we're gonna replace this blade because I don't want to cut myself, right? So replace, yeah, I'm gonna replace it right now because that's not doing squat. So we're gonna take that blade out. We're gonna set that off to the side. We're gonna dispose of that later, right? We're gonna dispose of that later. But let's get a new blade here. Nope, that's not the one we want. This is the one we want. Here we go. And if you haven't seen the little NT cutter blades, they come in packs of 40, which is really good. And this is like $5 on Amazon. You can find it in the link below. Really, really good stuff. And you know, they come in these little packages, and they come in like little packs of 5, right? And you gotta be a little careful because you know you could definitely slip and cut yourself here. But we got one, and you just get a bunch of these little packs of blades, right? And there's 5 blades to each one of these little packs, and you just kind of pop them back in there and just save them for when you need them. So now these are oiled, so you're gonna have to kind of wipe the oil off of the blade here. And they're oiled for a reason. They're oiled because you know, you don't want them to rust in transit to you, right? So now got a nice brand new blade. Let's see what the difference is in terms of cutting. Oh yeah, that's huge difference. Huge difference. Good stuff. All right, now let's go back to this. Up here, oh yeah, see that's so much easier to cut with a new blade. But we are cutting a fairly large surface area of plastic and glue, right? Which is now acrylic, essentially, because it's you know, hardened up and dried and all that. So it's a bit tough to cut through sometimes. Let's do the scraping technique here. Let's get our 1, 2, 3 block in here. good there. We're going to sand this transition down. Fingernail test. Oh, it passes. Hey now. Every time I watch Tim do this, I worry for his thumb. Dude, don't, man, because I am a trained professional at this. Trust me, I know my knife limitations. Let's put it that way, right? Okay. So now we need to file down this transition here. It's starting to look pretty good. Now, the big thing with this particular piece is obviously the cutout, the opening in the middle, right? How do we overcome that? Well, like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to treat this piece just like the other one. We're basically going to treat it as if that cutout is not even there, right? That's the going to be the focus. That's going to be the intent. First, we got to get this smoothed out first. Almost there. That looks pretty good. Perfect. Okay, so now, like I said, we are going to treat this just the same as the other piece. So, we're going to take our bastard file, and we are going to smooth everything out right across this plane. Now, what I would suggest is to actually put this on the leg, right? While you're doing this particular process. What's going to happen is that the inner frame is going to keep the actual piece nice and sturdy. It's going to keep it nice and rigid, right? So we have a sturdy piece that we can just kind of go in and file right along. And that is looking really nice. And don't worry if you file into this underneath piece, because we're not going to see that. No one's ever going to see that, so it's not a big deal, right? I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, you guys might think it's a big deal. I don't give a shit about it. I'm just saying. But that's just me, right? So we need to make sure these two pieces here are nice and flat. Okay, so now let's take our little metal ruler here and let's see if we've got a nice flat surface. Yep. Good to go. All right, so now we're going to take this piece off of here, ever so gingerly, and we're going to do the same thing as the other piece here. We're going to pop a big old plate of plastic on here, and this is looking really good. That looks nice and cured at this point. We're looking at what, 11:45? Cool. So we still have a little bit of time left. Now we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to generously apply this super glue, especially along this back edge, right? And then also right along this front edge too, because we want this thing to stick. Just like that. Now we're going to get our Insta set, and we're going to pop it right in here. Fairly generously on that too. And we're going to get some super glue right along this front edge to fill in those areas there. And also super glue right on there. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of press in these edges around here just to make sure that's nice and fit. Good stuff. All right, so now we're going to set this off to the side. We're going to bring back in our other piece here. We're going to get our 1, 2, 3 block out of the way. And then we're going to start to trim this down just a bit. Just take all that excess junk plastic off of here. We want to leave a decent amount still on there, right? We're not going to clip this back all the way. But we want to get out as much of that kind of low-hanging fruit as possible, right? Woo! Almost pulled a Chris Pabs there, you guys. Almost caught some plastic in the eye. Pabs caught a little plastic in the eye the other night on the Mechanism after party. Yeah, he got a little shrapnel. We were giving him a hard time. All right, so there's kind of our roughly trimmed piece, right? Julio says, we losing eyes out here, boys. Not mine. Not mine. It hit like right over here, though. I'm not going to lie. Not going to lie, man. Not going to lie. It hit right over here. So now, we're going to do another piece of 3/4, right? But this time, we are going to obviously trim it back just a little bit since we don't need nearly as much as the first layer because of tapering. Hey, how about that? So probably right there looks good to me. Score and snap. That's the name of the game. And that fits nicely right over that piece. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. And we're gonna basically just roughed in our piece here. Our shape. Score and snap that. And now, since we have this flat surface here, we're not going to need nearly as much super glue as we needed in the first few steps here, right? But we're going to get enough around the edges to make sure that we've got some decent squeeze out to fill up any gaps or anything like that, right? Good on both sides. Okay. Press that down. Very nice. Okay. So now, the last bit, we've got 2 layers of 3/4, right? 2 layers of 3/4. The last, so that's 1.5 millimeters, right? That we're padded out already. The last layer, It's going to be a nice thick 1.5 millimeter. Because we're not going to need nearly as much of that as we've needed in previous steps, right? And let's check our other piece here. This is looking pretty good. So let's get that trimmed back, and we'll lay down another layer of 3/4 on this. Throw that over there. And let's get the kind of low-hanging fruit again trimmed back. Okay. There. And like before, we're not cutting it back all the way. We're just trimming off, you know, the real kind of hardcore excess plastic, right? Because we're not going to need most of this, but it's good to have enough there that we can, you know, file down and all that good stuff, right? Especially on this especially on this top edge right here, right? That's going to be kind of the big part. Okay. So now we can come back in here with our other strip that we cut just a few minutes ago, and do the same thing. We're gonna just go around the edge here, get some in the middle, and then we're gonna lay this down just like that. Oop, shit, it moved. See, there's that floating that we've talked about. Let's get some Insta-set on here, and then we won't have to worry about that floating kind of phenomena, right? Let's wipe that excess glue off the mat there. Good. All right, so we've got that. We're going to let that sit over here. We're going to trim back. We're going to come back to this piece, and we are going to trim off that other little excess plastic on this layer. Now, is there waste in this process? Yeah, sure. There's definite waste in this process. Could this be done with epoxy putty? Maybe. My main concern with using epoxy putty for this type of situation, especially with the piece that has the gap in it, would be durability and adhesion, right? Because if you look at the finished piece here on the leg, this part right here is a fairly thin block of plastic, and so is this right here. This little transition right here at the corner, very, very thin. If we were to lay down epoxy putty and sand it to those tolerances, chances are that that would break off and it would be a nightmare to fill back in, right? We'd have to do more work. So by using super glue and plastic sheet, we kind of negate that and we get around it, right? And it just leaves us with a nice, really smooth surface and basically a surface that's ready to paint, primer and paint right out of the gate, right? So that's why I probably, it's why I definitely would not use epoxy putty in this particular situation, right? So, Gumble Ronan says, does he get a medal, meaning Chris Pabs? Maybe a Purple Heart Mecha Army variant? I like it. Let's see, for distinguished service during mechanism, right? Some gave their all, he gave an eye. Julio, Mr. Clippin' Nub says, is there a VA for the Mecha Army? No. Where's the Mecha Army? Where's the Mecha Commissary? Yeah. Let's see. Chris Pab says, side note, if you guys like the format of last week's mechanisms, please give Tim feedback. No, I think I think a lot of people really liked the format of Friday's mechanism. So I think we're gonna stick with it, Chris. So, yeah, really good. Flynnberger, Mr. Craig Flynn, he says, just tuned back in, mate. What are you doing there? We are trimming, man. We are kind of bulking out the Jesta's calf area because it's very kind of thin and emaciated. So we are laying down some plastic to eventually grind down and sand down and file down to make it match. So this is just part of the plating process, and we're doing all of this, right? So, yeah. Let's see. Ooh, hey, look at this. We got a comment from Twitter. Sweet. Now it's either Jomer or Yomer Torino. I'm gonna guess Yomer. I'm sorry if I'm wrong or if I'm butchering your name, buddy. But he says, why glue? Can I use plastic cement? You could, but there's two reasons why we use super glue, right? Number one, we get to work fast, right? It has a tremendous hold on such large surface areas. So that's one reason. The second reason is that its gap filling properties. Any gaps in the plating and stuff like that that we might have, that super glue will fill in and create like an acrylic filler, if you will, for any gaps that we will have. So that's the second reason. That's the big one, because plastic cement doesn't have that type of capability. It's just a solvent, right? Which will fuse pieces together. Now, mind you, that'll be strong, but it won't fill in the gaps that we will need, in terms of what super glue can do. So that's a great question, actually. Julio says, the format was awesome, Pabs. I like thinking deeper than roasting. Yeah, no, I do too. And Chris Pabs says, I can actually join in the conversation, right? Yeah. Rather than shit talking and everything. No, I think we're definitely going to keep that type of format, talking and stuff like that. But obviously, we're going to keep the shenanigans in place. So we're going to, way more conversation, just a little bit of shenanigans. Yeah, it keeps it lively, keeps it light, right? But let's check in with the Mecha Army Facebook group. Gerard Martiz is over there, and he says, what kind of glue do you use? That's a great question. My particular super glue of choice is this right here, Mr. Bob Smith Industries, or BSI. This is Insecure Plus. This is a 2-ounce size, and this is the 5 to 15 second gap filling medium glue. I love this stuff. This and I have, this is their Insta set. I've obviously rebottled it in this little dropper bottle, but both of those together it's a wonderful combination. You can actually find it in the description in the Amazon link if you're interested, but those are definitely my super glue of choice. Now, the other super glue that I really like is Loctite Super Control something, I forget what it was, but you can find that in most hardware stores and stuff like that. But the BSI stuff is really good. Gert McDirt, new follower, probably over there on good old Twitch. You get one of these. Boom. Right? And then Mr. Evan Andrews is over there still on the good old Mecha Army Facebook group. He says, just purchased the NT cutter and blades. Can't be worse than my crappy Hobby Lobby knife. Whoa. Talk about an upgrade. Hey now. No, dude. The one thing that you are going to notice, right, is the size difference. So let's just real quick run Evan through the size difference between the two, right? Now, here is your standard number 11 X-Acto blade that everyone and their brother probably has, right? And then here is the Olfa hobby knife that I really, really like as well, right? So these are your two standard sized hobby knives, right? Now, the NT cutter is a lot smaller, right? So you can see right there the size difference is in the 3, right? This is the 45-degree angle blade. They also make a 30-degree angle blade, which is much closer to these two. I like the 45-degree angle blade because I think it gives me a lot more control over cutting and everything. But the biggest difference, obviously, is going to be the handle size, right? Now, I will admit, Evan, when I first started using this little NT cutter, I didn't like it. I didn't like the daintiness and the size of it, the small, you know, kind of wimpy size. It wasn't for me. I actually had to learn, kind of relearn to like it and hold it and handle it. But I'm glad I did because I think the dexterity and the kind of accuracy ability that you get out of these is really, really good, right? So, FYI, keep that in mind when you get it, okay? So, hey, look at this. Flip Otaku is over there on Twitch as well. He says, hey, buddy. How you doing, Flip? Good to see you. All right, so now we've got our last plate that we've got to put on these suckers here. So we're just going to trim this other little bit off here before we cut the thick stuff here. We're just going to quickly trim this because it is after midnight. Your boy's got to hit the gym. Okay. Just quickly trimming all this nasty kind of overhang off of here. Whoa. Hey now. We got plastic flying everywhere, Pabs. Watch your eyes. Alright, so there we go. Alright, so we've got our two pieces rough trimmed. We've got two plates on both at this point, right? Now we are going to go for this nice thick 1.5 millimeter, right? So we're going to get a couple pieces cut out on this, and we're going to lay that down. Let's see, right about there looks good to me. Alright, so score once. Now this is thicker, so we're going to score this a few times. Okay, that should be good, and snap. There we go. Now we've got our piece. So we can, let's see, where's my pencil here? Right about there. That looks good on both counts. Excellent. So we're going to use this piece as our template, and we're just going to make a mark there, and we're going to cut this along that line. And accuracy at this point is not a huge deal. Just make sure that the plate is bigger than what you're gluing onto, right? Because like I said, you want it to overhang, right? So now we've got our two plates. Take our Bob Smith, good old Mr. Bob Dabalina. If y'all remember that, we can be friends. Mr. Dabalina, Mr. Bob Dabalina. And if you don't know it, that's Del the Funky Homo Sapien. Go check it out. Alright. So now we've got 3 millimeters of extra padding on both sides. So that essentially has got us a full 6 millimeters of extra calf to be in awe of, right? Wish I could add that much meat onto my calves in a few minutes. Would be nice. Would be nice. Okay. Whoop. Don't float off now. Come on. Work with me here, plastic. Work with me. Get some Insta-Set on this. And we're going to let this sit. And we're going to let all the super glue and everything cure completely all the way through, right? Even though we're hitting it with Insta-Set, that is topical at best. It needs to work through, and everything kind of underneath, outside of the edges and everything, needs to cure as well. So, look at this. Yeah. Whew. 6 millimeters, y'all. 6 millimeters of added beef to that calf. Yeah. It's good stuff. All right. So, let's switch back to camera 1. Let's tie this bow up here for the night. Soravan, no, he's over there on Twitch. He says, chonky. Yes. It is chonky. But it's sexy, too. I mean, y'all, okay, hold on. If y'all didn't see this, look at this. Look at how good that looks, right? Just, I mean, look at it from the back, right? Now, mind you, this is the thing. I have to plate these pieces here and this piece here underneath to make a smooth transition, right? I have to plate those. Those are not just going to be left alone, right? But that is a really, really good look thus far, especially with that new knee. Ooh, yeah. We're chasing the RX down. We're getting that shape. Yeah, we're getting that shape. Hell yeah. Gumpler Ronan says, I want to get in on the light and airy next time. I mean, why not? Come on, man. Gert McDirt, he says, Twitch was being wonky on my phone, but yeah, man, I tend to catch those notifications easier, so I should be able to make it to a lot more shows. There you go. Well, shit, get in. You just use Twitch as your notification and then tune in on YouTube. Chris Pab, son of it legitimately hurt for a good while. Oh, in your eye? Yeah, it probably did. Gotta check that Dell if you must, or else you'll be funky, right? Man, Del the Funky Homo Sapien and oh, what was it? Shoot, 93 to Infinity. No. God, what was that? It was something Mischief, right? God, that 93 to Infinity, such a classic hip hop song. I don't care who you are. You flip that on and you vibe out. Like, yeah. Oh, it's so good. So good. Souls of Mischief. That's what it was. Souls of Mischief. Their album was pretty damn good back in the day. I'm not going to lie. Not going to lie. I rocked it in, what was it? I was probably like a freshman in high school. 93. Sophomore, maybe. I don't know. Anyway. Good shit. Good shit. If you're a fan of hip-hop, like old school stuff, I say that now. But anyway, you get the point. Chris Pab says, meanwhile, I'm out here chasing this SD build. Motherfucker, so am I, asshole. I'm waiting for my kits, you dick. They're on the way, though. Adam has them. Anyway. Sorvan says, put any more on those calves and you'll be chasing the Gustav Karl down. So, yeah. Tell me about it, right? Sorvan? Jesus, man. Tex Marquise. Womp womp, right? Julio says, yo, I put on some Gravediggers last night. Put me in such a good workout. It's not bad, man. That's not bad. Put on a little Helter Skelter. Yeah. Helter Skelter. Smith & Wesson. Yeah. Put some of that on. Really get you in the zone. Get you working out. Come on now. You know what to do, Julio. Anyway, we're talking old school hip hop here, you guys. Sometimes we delve into that. But I digress. All right, so you guys, let's finish this out. If you want to rock one of these cool-ass Titans shirts, hit up www.childofmecha.com. There's going to be a store link up near the top. Hit that. You'll find shirts and hats and all sorts of other cool stuff on there. If you are interested in any of the tools and materials that we work with here tonight, like the Bob Smith Industries Super Glue, the NT Cutter, that kind of cool stuff, there's an Amazon link just below here on Twitch and YouTube. That side, if you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, I'm sorry, but they don't allow descriptions on live streams. Hit up childofmecha.com. There's a bar up at the top. You'll be able to find all the tools and goodies, right? Ooh, look at this. Okay, so Lyle Lugria? Lyle, I hope I'm saying that right. He says, yo, I show up late because of a game of hide and seek soapcom, but I caught you rocking the Titans. My next 3 builds are going to be painted in Titans colors. Why not rock the shirt, right? Hey. Yeah, so there you go. Radiant Snow 55. Man, I missed the live stream. I'll be here on next time. Yeah, man. Just rewind it. You can watch it. It's preserved for knowledge, right? Anyway. But anyways, so hit up the little Amazon link there. They are affiliated links, so I do get a bit of commission based off the stuff that you buy, but it doesn't increase the cost for you. It goes to help out the stream. And if you are interested in kits or paints or accessories, or the almighty Mecha Decals, best in the damn world, I might add, go check out my boy, Mr. Adam, his shop, USA Gundam Store. They will definitely have what you need. So, with that being said, guys, let's talk about, just real quick before we go, let's talk about show programming notes. This week is going to be another hectic week for me. I'm going to be up in Rochester, New York on Wednesday shooting some more testimonials and stuff. So there will be no stream on Wednesday night. I will be back here on Friday to pick it back up. Next week, though, next week looks like a normal week. So we're going to have two normal live streams, and then we're going to have a new mechanism. So come on out for that. Watch Chris Pabs lose his other eye in a gruesome plastic accident, and we'll just have fun with that, making fun of him. So until next time, man, it's good seeing you guys. I will catch you on the flip. I'll see you Friday. Enjoy your week, guys. Go out, build something cool, but be careful. Be more careful than Chris Pabs. Don't lose your eye to plastic. Okay? Promise me. I have faith in you guys. Chris, not so much. He says I just poked my thumb with a chisel. Oh my god. You can't write this stuff. I can't make this up. Anyway. Guys, be safe out there. Go build something cool. Edward Lennard says, oh my god, Rochester, what are you going to do? I'm going to go film a testimonial at a dealership up there. Yeah. Anyway. Alright, you guys, get out of here. Go do something else. I'll see you guys on Friday. Take care.